Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the 24th iteration of the Konoha Companion. And this is Joshua. I'm your Konoha Companion, as always. And on this episode, we're going to be covering Season 1, Episode 23 of Naruto, entitled Genin Takedown, All 9 Rookies Face Off. Now, before I dive too far off into this episode, we're just going to go and discuss what happened on the previous episode kind of briefly. And so basically on the previous episode, Rock Lee decided to confront Sasuke as a practice match before he goes to fight Neji. Although when he confronted Sasuke, he framed it as though he wanted the challenge of fighting an Uchiha, right? Only after the fight did Rock Lee really reveal that he was only trying to basically get a solid warm-up for a fight with Neji. Naruto decides to attack first, and Bushy Brow basically makes short work of him with a leaf whirlwind counterattack that sends him spinning into the wall. Lee attacks Sasuke and breaks through Sasuke's guard with a leaf hurricane that sends him to the ground. Sasuke busts out his Sharingan, thinking Lee used ninjutsu or genjutsu to break through his guard. He then attacks, but Lee Sweet Chin musics him into the air, right? Kick to the chin. Lee reveals his entire attack is taijutsu. Lee proceeds to beat Sasuke's ass with straight martial arts. Lee then reveals he understands the Sharingan perfectly and explains that he matches up perfectly against this skill. Lee describes two types of ninja, ones that are born with talent and those who have to grind for it. Lee lands another high kick and begins to do his forbidden move when suddenly he's stopped by Ningame, who is Guy Sensei's summoning ninja tortoise, who then proceeds to chastise Lee for breaking the rules and for attempting a forbidden jutsu. Guy Sensei makes his grand first appearance and gets clowned by the squadlings for being a cornball. Guy knocks the shit out of Lee as punishment. This knocks some sense into Lee and they immediately make up in dramatic fashion. Everything these two guys do is ridiculous. Guy sentences Lee to 100 laps around the practice field when the squadlings remind them of the tuning exams. Guy at this point admits he forgot about the tuning exams and ups Lee's punishment to 500 laps. Guy then introduces himself as Kakashi's eternal arch-rival. The squadlings don't quite believe it, so Guy busts out a move to show off his skills. He says he's faster and stronger than Kakashi. He then apologizes for Lee causing trouble. Guy yells, Lee, go to class with these squadlings here. He then disappears in a cloud of smoke. Lee then at this point admits to Sasuke that the fight was really just practice for Neji, but that he now considers Sasuke a threat who he will crush. Naruto takes this opportunity to mess with Sasuke a bit, right? Anytime that Sasuke gets bested, Naruto is going to definitely point that out. But ultimately, the squadlings walk towards the classroom together, and the episode ends. Right, and so this episode starts with it a little bit wound back, with the squadlings running into, it's not wound back, actually. It picks up right where it left off. Excuse me, I kind of said that out of force of habit because they so regularly take you back a little bit, but this episode actually starts with the squadlings proceeding to the classroom, and in front of the classroom door is Kakashi, who says, "I'm glad you came, Sakura, for your sake and the others. Now you can all formally register for the tuning exam." And Sakura asks, "Why? What do you mean?" To which Kakashi responds, "You see, only groups of 3 are allowed to apply for and take the tuning exam. That's the way it's always been." Sakura questions, "But Sensei, you said the decision to take the exam was up to the individual." Kakashi confirms this, saying, "That's right, I did." Sakura questions again, "Was that a lie?" Kakashi then admits, "Sort of. It's an individual decision, but it affects all of you. I didn't tell you before because I didn't want the other guys pressuring you. At the same time, I didn't want you feeling obligated to participate because of any feelings you might have towards Sasuke or Naruto." Kakashi's gaze narrows as he continues, "I wanted you to come to a decision of your own free will." And so this is dope, right? He just revealed that basically only squads get to go in and participate in the Chunin exams. They test them individually, but if you're not part of a successful team that's all prepared to go do it, you don't get to participate in the exam at all. So that's interesting how they have that worked out. I think it's also really cool that Kakashi kept it low key so that Sakura could make an honest decision. So yeah, this is neat, right? But bad on Sakura. A ninja's supposed to see through deception. She didn't see through this deception. But either way, Sakura at this point questions, "Wait a minute, do you mean if the others had shown but I decided not to come with them?" Kakashi sharply interjects mid-sentence and confirms what she was working towards, saying, "It would have been the end of the line. If you hadn't come along, I couldn't have let the others in. But it's a moot point. You're all here, and for the right reasons." The beat builds as Kakashi continues, "Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke, I'm proud of you. I couldn't ask for a better team." He steps out of the doorway, and he bids them good luck. And this is dope. I love that Kakashi came in and gave him the pep talk, told him that he's proud of him, and he's seeing him off into the Chunin exams. Naruto excitedly demands, "We won't let you down, Sensei. Believe it." The squadlings then walk through the door and the beat drops, and Kakashi has a moment to himself out in the hallway. In this moment, the title slide comes in and Naruto reads, "Genin Takedown. All 9 rookies face off." Naruto at this point, looking a little shocked, questions aloud, "What's this?" Sakura chimes in, "Gee, I guess we're not alone." And it suddenly reveals the rest of the room is absolutely chock full of ninja. We're talking dozens at least, and they're all older, all very intimidating, right? Sakura shakily thinks, "Man, I had no idea there'd be so much competition." She then gives the room a once-over and thinks, "If being scary-looking was one of the tests, they've got me beat." She then gulps nervously, but in this moment, Ino comes running up yelling, "Sasuke, where have you been?" Who then jumps on Sasuke's back and giggles. She then continues, "Boy, you have no idea how much I was hoping you'd show up here. I've missed those brooding good looks of yours." Sasuke clearly would rather this not be happening to him. Sakura hates this and points at Ino and yells, "Hey, porker, back off, he's mine." Ino responds, "Miss Forehead, they let you in. Still got those big frown lines on your billboard brow, I see." Sakura then demands, "Leave my forehead out of it." Ino then sticks her tongue out and kicks and mocks Sakura while holding on to Sasuke. And I love this, man. Ino pig jokes, billboard brow jokes. The nostalgia is real, right? These two, Ino and Sakura, have been competing since day one, talking shit since day one, and it permeates even in this, intimidating environment. Just as things are starting to really get heated between Ino and Sakura, Team 10 walks up and Shikamaru says, "Oh, hey, it's you guys. I knew this was going to be a drag, but I didn't know it was going to be this lame." Naruto responds back to this, "So all 3 stooges are here." Shikamaru angrily responds, "Hey, you know what, Pipsqueak? Forget it. You're a waste of time." At this point, the frame freezes and does something very similar to what the title slide does, and Naruto says, "Shikamaru Nara, Always complaining, never does anything about it. The laziest kid in the academy. It then shows us Choji chomping down on chips, and he gets the same treatment as Naruto continues. Choji Akamichi. Akamanchi's more like it. I think he'd eat his own head if he could. It then takes us back to Ino, who's proudly taunting Sakura. Sorry, but Sasuke's all mine, as she mocks Sakura again, and just as she sticks her tongue out to mock Sakura, the frame freezes and she gets her own special intro from Naruto as well, who says, Ino Yamanaka. Now she's annoying, and it's not just because she has the same stupid thing for Sasuke that Sakura's got. And this was a fun sequence, right? Getting to hear Naruto introduce the members of Team 10. Shikamaru's lazy and complains a lot. Choji's always eating, and Ino's annoying and has a thing for Sasuke just like Sakura. Just in this moment, Team 8, consisting of Kiba, Hinata, and Shino, walks up and Kiba interjects, well, what do you know? It looks like the whole gang is back together again. And Hinata nervously says, hi, Naruto. And she blushes, and the frame freezes, and she gets her own special treatment where Naruto introduces her as Hinata Hyuga. She's okay, but I don't know why she gets all nervous and embarrassed every time I even, look at her. It's kind of weird. Naruto then introduces Kiba Inazuka and his dog Akamaru. Forget what I said about Ino. This guy's the most annoying of them all. Thinks he's so cool. Naruto then continues, there's Shino Aburame. Well, he's just weird. Kind of a mystery, but that doesn't mean he isn't annoying too. And again, it's cool to have Naruto introduce everybody and give them his thoughts on them. Hinata, shy and weird. Kiba, the most annoying of them all, talks too much, thinks Kiba's the coolest. Or Kiba thinks Kiba's the coolest, right? He thinks too highly of himself and is loud about it. And Shino is mysterious and weird. So the overarching theme with this team is comprised of Hinata, Kiba, and Shino is that they're weird. Also, this is the first time we've met Akamaru, who is Kiba's ninja hound. God dang, I love that dog. I'm such a sucker for dogs. Akamaru's hecka cute and cool. Shikamaru addresses Team 8 asking, you guys too, huh? Man, everyone's here for this stupid thing. Kiba responds, yep, here we all are. The 9 rookies. Haha, this is going to be fun. At least for those of us good enough to make the cut. Right, Sasuke? Sasuke responds, Kiba, careful you don't get overconfident. Kiba triumphantly responds, just wait, we're going to blow you guys away. We've been training like crazy. Naruto quickly chimes in, what do you think we've been doing? Sitting around picking daisies? You don't know what training means. And Naruto needs to, cool his horses a little bit. Our man's legit spent time picking daisies and even failed miserably at that with his old dumbass. So, what have you been doing picking daisies? Actually, Naruto, you have been picking daisies and doing so poorly. Hinata nervously recommends to Naruto, don't mind Kiba, I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it. Naruto loudly questions, huh? Which causes Hinata to freeze up, blush, and avert her gaze. Right? She's so quiet that Naruto didn't even really hear her, and Naruto was extra loud in his response back, huh? And once Naruto is locked in on Hinata, she's just too nervous to even do anything. Kiba notices this, and Akamaru lets out a cute little bark. Choji thinks to himself while smashing chips, Akamaru is looking plumper, juicier. And he starts walking towards Kiba, who immediately notices and kind of leans backwards a little bit. And just as Choji starts to get close, Shino steps in between them. And the beat drops. It's like an ominous beat drop. And Choji asks him, what do you want? What's wrong? Shino at this point looks down at the ground and Choji follows suit, and it shows a bug that goes walking by between them. Shino then says, "Thought maybe you hadn't seen him. Didn't want you to step on it." And whoa, this dude's out here like looking out for the bugs type shit. Okay, cool. Yeah, wow. Oh, is this dude just like a super pacifist where like he won't even step on bugs like someone who studied Jainism back in the day? Or is he, I don't know. Choji at this point asks, "Why? You saving it for lunch?" Choji's old fat ass talking about eating this bug for lunch. But at this point, an unknown character calls out to them as he approaches, "Hey, you guys, you might want to try keeping it down a little. I mean, no offense, but you're the 9 rookies, right? Fresh out of the academy? I wouldn't go making a spectacle of yourselves. Just cool it. This isn't a class field trip." As he's saying this, we get our first good look at him. Slender fella, gray hair in a ponytail with his bangs down, round glasses, purple outfit, gloves, leaf ninja headband. Ino barks, "Well, who asked you? Who are you?" He obliges and introduces himself as Kabuto Yakushi. And he goes, "I'm Kabuto Yakushi. But really, look around you. You've made quite an impression." It's then revealed that basically every ninja in the entire room is watching them intently. Kabuto continues, "See those guys? They're from the Rain Village. Very touchy. They all are. This exam makes everyone tense, and you don't want to rub them the wrong way right now. You can't help it. I mean, how could you know how things work? You're just rookies. You remind me of myself a while back." And this is cool. Now we know the symbol for the hidden rain village is the 4 vertical lines. Sakura asks, "Kabuto, is that your name?" To which he responds, "Yeah." Sakura then continues, "This isn't the first time you've taken the exam?" To which Kabuto responds, "No, it's my 7th. This confuses everyone, so Kabuto continues, "Well, they're only held twice a year, so this will be my 4th year." Sakura goes, "Wow, a veteran. You must really be an expert by now." Kabuto agrees, "Yeah, sort of." Naruto chimes in, "Cool, you can give us all the inside tips." Shikamaru quips in real quickly, "Yeah, some expert. He's never passed." And homie may want to respect homie because Kabuto looks a lot younger than a bunch of the other dudes trying out right now. Kabuto chuckles nervously and rubs his head and responds, "Well, 7th time is a charm. That's what they say, huh?" Shikamaru then adds, "So I guess all of the rumors about the exam being tough are true. Oh man, I knew this was going to be a drag." Kabuto goes, "Hold on. Don't give up hope yet. Maybe I can help you kids out a little." He then reaches into his satchel and continues, "With my ninja info cards," as he flashes them in front of his face. Sakura asks, "What the heck are those?" To which Kabuto responds, "It's hard to explain, but these cards have been chakra encoded with everything I've learned over the past 4 years. I've got more than 200 of them. So you see, I haven't been completely wasting my time. They may not look like much to the naked eye. In fact, they appear blank. Don't want just anyone seeing this stuff." He then sets his stack of cards on the ground, pulls one card off the top, flips it over blank side up, puts his left index finger on it and makes it start spinning. Sakura asks, "What the heck are you doing?" And Kabuto obliges, "You see, I'm using my chakra to reveal their secrets, like this, for example." He then uses his free hand to cast a sign and the card poofs, and it reveals a map with all kinds of information on it. Sakura exclaims, "Awesome! A map of what?" Kabuto then explains, it shows the geographical distribution of all of the candidates who have come to take the tuning exam, what villages they come from, and how many from each village. Why do you guys think they all come here to take the exam together at the same time? He gives everybody a second, but nobody chimes in, so he continues, it's to foster friendship between nations, of course, international brotherhood and all that. And it's true enough as far as it goes. Sasuke chimes in, but there's another reason. Kabuto confirms this, saying, yeah, you see, the important thing is that this way they can carefully regulate the total number of shinobi that end up in each village, thereby maintaining the balance of power. Naruto kind of goes along with everything, oh yeah, balance of power, but kind of shrugs confusedly. Shikamaru adds, balance of power, big deal, it's all a drag. And on the card it shows the hidden village. The village hidden in the sand had 30 participants. The village hidden in the rain had 21 participants. A village currently unknown to us that symbol is a squiggly line has 15 participants. Another village that is currently unknown to us that symbol looks almost like a downward pointing arrow has 12 participants. The village hidden in the leaves has 72 participants. And the village whose symbol is represented as a quaver have 3 participants. So those 3 participants are going to be those 3 guys who were in the tree watching the whole thing that transpired between Team 7, the Konohamaru Ninja Team, and Gaara, Kankuro, and Tamari whenever they first got to the village, whenever we were first finding out about the tuning exams. So that's those 3 guys. I don't know what's up with these other 2 villages just yet. I'm certain that we'll wind up getting to that. Kabuto touches his card, and in a poof of smoke, the information disappears and the card is blank again. Kabuto then says, if the balance isn't maintained, one nation could wind up with many more shinobi than its neighbors, and it may be tempted to attack them. So they try to maintain the status quo. Makes sense, I suppose. Sasuke then asks, do those cards of yours have any info on the other candidates individually? Kabuto smiles and responds, they might. You have someone special in mind? Sasuke's gaze narrows and responds, I might. Kabuto goes, well, I can't promise my information is complete or perfect, but I've got something on just about everyone, including you guys, of course. So which one is it? Tell me anything you want to know about them. A description, where they're from, whatever. Anything at all. Sasuke says, it's Gaara of the Desert, and there's Rock Lee of the Leaf Village while you're at it. Kabuto protests, man, that's no fun. You even know their names. That makes it easy. He then pulls out 2 cards and says, here they are. Sasuke demands, show them to me. Naruto looks on and nods his head agreeably and thinks to himself, I don't have a clue what's going on here, but I'll act like I do. My man, old dumbass. Kabuto then says, okay, first up is Rock Lee. He touches the card and a plume of smoke appears, right? And once the plume of smoke disappears, there's a bunch of info on Rock Lee on the card. Kabuto then reads off the card. Looks like he's about a year older than you guys. Mission experience 11 C ranks and 20 D ranks. His squad leader is Guy. In the last 12 months, his Tai Jutsu has radically improved, but his other skills are pretty shaky. Last year, he got a lot of attention as a Genin, but for some reason, he chose not to participate in the tuning exam. This will be his first time as a candidate, same as you guys. His teammates are Tenten and Neji Hyuga. It then flashes Hinata and Naruto, and Naruto questions, huh? Hyuga? Naruto then reveals the information on Gaara and says, okay, now for Gaara of the Desert. Mission experience 8 C ranks, and get this, 1 B rank as a Genin. There's not a lot more information on this guy. He was a rookie from another land originally, but there's this. He survived every mission without getting a scratch on him. Shikamaru is clearly shook by this and says, the dude's got a B rank as a Genin and he's never even been injured. And you'll remember our guys were involved in a B rank, but it was by accident. And they pretty much all got their asses kicked several times throughout. So obviously Gaara's a badass. Imagine, Gaara was on the Land of Waves mission and he didn't even get a single scratch. Well, I think Sakura pulled that off too, right? I don't think she actually ever got hit. So, there's ways to make it through it without necessarily being on the forefront and making it through a B-rank mission without getting scratched and not being like a super badass. But I think the point is that Gaara's a badass. Naruto then questions internally, what's the deal with this guy? Kabuto then busts out his card again and reads, leaf, sand, rain, grass, waterfall, sound. From the looks of it, they've all sent exceptionally skilled candidates to the exam this time around. Of course, the Hidden Sound Village is smaller. It sprang up recently. No one knows anything about it. Those guys are a mystery. Well, you get the point. The competition this year is going to be intense. And now we know the arrow-looking symbol is the hidden waterfall, which isn't associated with a nation, right? Like nowhere in anything that I was able to find does it say what nation the village hidden by a waterfall is nestled within. The quaver is the village hidden by sound, and the squiggle is the hidden grass. And again, the hidden grass is also one of those villages where they don't say what land it's nestled within. I believe the hidden sound is within the land of rice paddies. Yeah, I don't have that in front of me, but if my memory serves correctly, that's where it is. If that's incorrect, I'm not going to be editing this, so you guys will get to roast me. At this point, Hinata agrees with Kabuto's sentiment about the competition being tough by remarking in response, so it would seem it's almost enough to make you lose your confidence. Ino harshly criticizes, it's a fine time to start talking like that. Sakura questions Kabuto, do you really think it's going to be tougher this time? And Kabuto responds, oh yeah. In the 4 years I've been coming, I've never seen a crop of candidates with as much potential as this bunch. Yep, we've got our work cut out for us. It then takes us to Kakashi, who's still standing outside the classroom having his moment of introspection. He flashes back to Iruka, who's demanding, I can't go along with this. They may be under your care now, Kakashi, but I know these kids. They were my students. I trained them. I don't know what you're trying to prove with this, but... And Guy Sensei chimes in during the flashback and says, he may be right, Kakashi. You're putting a lot of pressure on them. Why so impatient? I held my team back for a year so they could hone their skills and mature. Let them enjoy their youth a little longer. Kakashi chuckles and says, your concern is touching. You sure it's not just because you know your guys don't stand a chance against mine? Guy, visibly frustrated, groans. When Lord Third chimes in, all right, that's enough. The matter of the rookie's participation is closed. Now, as for the other Genin, I'm ready to consider your recommendations. Kakashi says to Guy, I know what I'm doing. You'll see. And Kakashi in real time says aloud, I wish I was as sure as I sounded. I wonder how they're doing. Even the cockiest of them must be a little scared. At this point, it takes us back to the classroom where Naruto is shivering for some reason, and Sakura thinks, so we're just rookies, and most of these guys are older and more experienced than we are. No big deal. It's okay to be a little scared. I can handle it. but it'd be a whole lot easier if I didn't have to watch Naruto falling apart right in front of me. I mean, nothing usually gets to him. Poor guy. Maybe I can try to cheer him up." She then steps up and leans in and says, "Hey, don't worry, Naruto. We'll be fine." Suddenly, the beat drops and Naruto lets out a big scream and he points at the entire room and announces, "My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm going to beat every one of you. Believe it." And Kakashi hears this from the hallway and gets a big smile and a satisfied chuckle out of this whole deal. Ino rushes Sakura and yells, "Hey, what's that idiot trying to do? Get us killed?" Sakura slumps her shoulders and thinks, "I should have known. He's not smart enough to be scared." Ino leans in and yells even harder, "Tell your boyfriend to keep his big fat trap shut." Sakura angrily protests, "Whose boyfriend?" And Ino matches that energy and yells, "Oh, I forgot. You can't get one." Sakura yells back, "What did you say?" Naruto at this point triumphantly puts his hands behind his head and smiles and says, "Yeah, I feel a lot better now." Sasuke and Kabuto both acknowledge this, along with the rest of their room, who don't seem to take as kindly to it as Sasuke and Kabuto. Kankuro sees this and asks aloud, "That's the same kid as before, isn't it?" to Temari and Gaara. To which Temari responds, "He yaps just like a little dog." And Gaara, remains silent. He's kind of like the Sasuke of their team, always too cool for school, not really talking a whole lot. Tintin remarks, "What a jerk." Which Neji responds, "Well, he hasn't lost any of his spunk." Rock Lee chimes in, "He has passion." Neji responds, "I guess you didn't intimidate him as much as you thought, huh, Lee?" At this point, Zaku, the second male member of Team Sound, says, "You heard what he said about the Hidden Sound Village? He called us little, a mystery." Dosu, the male member of the Team Sound with the big fur, responds, "I heard." The girl from the team adds, "I say, we teach this guy some manners." Dosu agrees, responding, "Yeah, time to clear up some of the mystery for him. Update his information. Let him know that if you insult the Sound Shinobi, you'd better be ready for the consequences." It then takes us back to our three groups of squadlings, and Kiba says to Naruto in reference to his triumphant announcement of self, "Can you say that again a little louder? I didn't quite catch it." Shikamaru adds in, "You moron, are you trying to get everyone in this place to hate our guts or what?" Naruto lets out a big old laugh, and Sakura runs up behind Naruto and puts him in another rear naked choke while yelling, "Naruto, you jackass! Why'd you go and say something like that, you obnoxious little..." When suddenly Sakura realizes that literally the entire room is staring at her. Before I go any further, I want to point out that this is now the second time that Sakura has put Naruto in a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu rear naked choke. Right? Everybody always likes to talk about the punches, how she always punches Naruto. But I think at this point she's got more rear naked chokes on him than knockouts. I think that Sakura is gunning for a purple belt right now. But either way, once she realizes that the entire room is staring right at her, she stops and says, "Oh, hi everybody, don't mind me. Sometimes he just says these spazzy things. He doesn't really mean them, they just kind of come out. He's got this condition, kind of a psychological thing. He really should be on medication." She then drags Naruto to the back of the group where she's getting on his case, saying, "Now see what you've done, Naruto. You've hurt everybody's feelings. They think you don't respect them, but that isn't true, is it, Naruto?" While this is happening, Dosu asks his squadlings if they're ready, and Zuko responds, "Let's do it." They begin to make their move through the crowd. Kankuro sees this, groans, and starts to pull the crow off his back, but Gaara stops him. The sound ninja continue to move about the room, and Dosu pulls up his sleeve, revealing some type of mechanical gauntlet on his arm. Meanwhile, Sakura continues to give Naruto a scolding with, "Would you just for once in your life think about what you're doing? Think about the rest of us." Naruto's entire response to this is, "Fine." Suddenly, Zuko leaps into action to attack Kabuto. Kabuto dodges this, but Dosu is waiting for him with a big right hand loaded up. Kabuto thinks they're from the village hidden in the sound, and then easily dodges Dosu's attack with a smirk. Sasuke thinks he's fast, almost as quick as me. Kabuto lets out a chuckle when suddenly his glasses crack. Kabuto calmly says, "Oh, I get it. So it was that kind of an attack." He then takes his glasses off when suddenly Sasuke pops in and says, "Hang on, I saw it all. He dodged the attack. How did that happen?" Shikamaru responds, "It must have come closer than it looked. Look at him acting like it was nothing. Real tough guy." Suddenly, Kabuto groans in pain and his vision blurs. He falls to his knees, retches, and vomits. And Naruto sees this and is shocked by it, and it causes him to yell out, "What? Did he just..." And Sakura chimes in, "Kabuto, what's wrong? What is it?" The sight of Kabuto throwing up shocks everybody in the room. Naruto and Sakura run to Kabuto's aid, where Naruto asks, "Hey Kabuto, are you okay?" Kabuto shakily responds, "Yeah, I'm fine." Naruto questions, "Are you sure?" And in this moment, Dosu thinks to himself, "Not such a tough guy after all, I guess. Maybe that's why he's on his 7th try." Zoku adds, "Write this on your little card, punk. The Genin from the Sound Village will be tuning when this is over. Guaranteed." Sasuke then thinks, "I don't get it. He saw their attack in time to evade it. What made him fall apart?" It takes us over to Team Guy, where Neji asks, "Hey Lee, what was going on with that attack?" Lee responds, "There was more to it than just speed, some kind of trick." Suddenly, there's a huge plume of smoke in the front of the room, and Ibiki announces, "All right, you baby-faced degenerates, pipe down and listen up." The smoke clears, and it reveals a large leaf ninja with a scar on his face and several ranked ninjas standing behind him. This is Ibiki, right? And he introduces himself with a small chuckle and says, "It's time to begin. I'm Ibiki Marino, your proctor, and from this moment, your worst enemy." And the episode ends. And this was a really fun episode. A lot of stuff happened. We got to see the special jutsu of the ninja from the Sound Village, although it hasn't quite been explained, but right, like Dosu threw a right hand that was easily avoided, and yet somehow it cracked Kabuto's glasses and it caused him to throw up. I love that. We got to see what was going on with the cards, seeing all the, what would it be, the ways that, like all the villages, how they're sending people in. It's wild that the village hidden in the leaves has more than like literally all the other villages combined. So I guess when they're talking about maintaining the balance of power, I guess like really what that comes down to is like Konoha stays on top. Because I don't see how a proper balance of power is maintained whenever one village is submitting 72 Genin candidates to the exam, whenever the others are combining a combined total of 51, 66, 60, 69. I mean, the other four nations have a combined total of 69 participants, and the Hidden Leaf has 72 by themselves. So there's clearly way more ninja being produced in the Hidden Leaf Village. And also, like 3 of the major lands aren't even here, like the Land of Water, the land of stone, the land of earth, and the land of the village hidden in the clouds, right? The land of lightning. None of their villages are even represented here. And so, I mean, I guess because they do it twice a year, they don't necessarily need to send people to every single one of them. But, you know, Kabuto did say that out of all the times that they've done this over the last 4 years, this is like the healthiest looking crop. I love that we also got to see how Naruto went about describing the other rookies, right? Which one is it? Is it Team 10? Yeah, Team 10 with Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino. He described basically Shikamaru as lazy and complains a lot. He described Choji as always eating. He would eat his own head if he could. And he described Ino as annoying and having a thing for Sasuke. We then got to hear him provide the same type of explanation for the members of Team 8, where he basically said that Hinata is shy but annoying but ultimately okay. He said that Shino is mysterious but ultimately weird as well. Just because he's mysterious doesn't mean he's not weird. And he said that Kiba is the most annoying of them all. He talks too much, and Kiba thinks that Kiba's the coolest. And, you know, with that, I feel like we can pretty much put a bow on this episode, right? There's a lot of stuff that's coming up on the horizon, right? Like, we're going to get to see these guys fight. We're going to get to see some cool stuff. I mean, the title of the episode was All 9 Rookies Clash, right? And there hasn't really been a clash yet. They've only really talked. You know, another thing we talk about, too, is Kabuto. Kabuto's a fun character. You know, he's got a lot of information, right? Like, that seems to be his whole thing. It's like he is clearly not a humongous guy. He's younger than a bunch of these other dudes, and it seems like he's just doubling down on being to outwit people. And I love that he, you know, was like Konoha gang and like helped out the guys with some information that they needed and stuff like that. But again, I can talk about this stuff for days. I said I was going to put a bow on this episode, and so with that, everybody, thank you so much for listening. You know, I appreciate you to the moon and back. Please consider liking, sharing, engaging, subscribing. I don't know, you know, whatever tickles your fancy, right? However you want to support, you support that way, and I'm going to appreciate it a ton. You know, please participate in the comments, share the memes, be friendly, right? The whole point of this thing is to find like-minded friends who are into Naruto and stuff like that. And so, again, thank you all so much for listening. This is Josh. I'm your Konoha companion, and I'm really looking forward to covering the next episode of Naruto with you.